that you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. For December, as we focus towards the new year, my message is on leadership and succession planning. One of the greatest advantages to our organization, Kiwanis and service leadership programs alike, is that any member can step up into any of numerous positions we have to offer. We have had dynamic and inspiring leaders at all levels of Kiwanis here in the Capital District over our great history. Yet, in recent years, interest in leadership positions both within the club and outside of it have dwindled significantly. There is no question that there exists a direct correlation between membership and club leadership. Quality leaders motivate people to join, and existing members to do more. Does your Kiwanis Club have contested elections for officer positions each spring, or do you simply have a board that changes seats each year to mix things up? It's imperative that clubs create a leadership pipeline within their organization. If you don't already do this, you could assign a particular officer or director to be responsible for tracking each member's skills and their involvement and approach them about stepping up to the next level. If they are a good member, directly ask them to chair a project. If they've been involved for a few years in the club, ask them to serve as a director. Many clubs announce that they are looking for project chairs, but few take the time to individually ask members who have limited involvement to take on a new task. Instead, we take the path of least resistance and ask an already overused member to do something else for their club. This can lead to burnout of our existing members and the potential for involved members to drop out. Does your club look at the profession and/or skill set of prospective and new members and identify right away which committees they should serve on? Many clubs overlook professional backgrounds when getting new members involved. Some clubs control who takes each officer position, but having contested and open elections are fantastic for club morale. Members want to see that multiple people in their club want to serve and lead. It energizes the club and causes more people to want leadership positions. The campaigning process is also extremely good for personal development of your members. Consider creating an environment in your club that encourages new people to step into leadership positions at any level without having to go through all of the chairs. Sometimes the most dynamic club president could be someone that recognizes that they could never be an effective club secretary or treasurer. If your club imposes a prerequisite that you have to hold one of these positions before being president, you could be missing out on quality leadership. Does your club have an officer or director assigned to be in charge of strategic planning? Some clubs use their immediate past president as the person who is the keeper of the club's long-range plan. That way, there is focus beyond the current year on what the club strives to accomplish. Part of that also includes how your club plans its future leadership development. Our District Committee on Long-Range Planning, chaired by past Lieutenant Governor Judy Panelides and past Lieutenant Governor Linda Smith, have just released a survey on club planning. I encourage each of you to visit the SurveyMonkey address on the screen and take a few minutes to complete it. Once you have your leadership pipeline established, it's important to think about how you transition from one year to the next. One of the biggest challenges our organization faces is that we reinvent the wheel quite a bit as new sets of leaders take over each October 1st. Does your club do a formal transition and briefing from one board to the next, or joint planning sessions between administrations? If not, this practice can ease the handover and prevent the new board from spending their time working on things already addressed by previous administrations. Also, it's good to ensure that your club has a written policy code that dictates how the club operates at a level more granular than your club bylaws. This gives new boards something to reference and maintain club continuity. It's important that your club's president-elect be involved with everything the president and vice president of your club does. This is their planning year, and they need to have the right education and resources to make sure their year as president is as successful as they want it to be. Make sure your president-elect attends their club leadership education session held in May and June. It's vital that they go through this process even if they've been a club president before. Right now, about 20% of our Kiwanis clubs don't have a president-elect for the current year. That means that they are already months behind in planning for 2012-2013. You might not think it's a big deal at this point, but it leads to other leadership challenges. A perfect example of this is that currently only 8 of our 21 divisions have lieutenant governors-elect. That means that over 60% of our divisions have no one planning for next year yet. Many will have difficulty getting anyone to step forward for the position this spring when it's time for elections. Again, it's imperative that the division, much like the club, have a person or persons responsible for finding upcoming leaders, and the only Kiwanis International requirement is that they have been a club president. That means anywhere from 5 to 12 new Kiwanis members in each division are eligible to hold that position each year. Why so then do we struggle to find lieutenant governors, or for that matter, club president candidates? Why haven't we had a contested race for governor-elect in 5 years in this district? I believe a strong part of the reason for both of these is because of the attitude of some of our veteran members. Some members who have held leadership positions tend to poison the well, as I call it. This usually involves speaking about leadership positions they've held in exaggerated or negative terms. For example, if you hear a member say that when they were lieutenant governor, they attended all of the club meetings and board meetings for all of their clubs, you might expect that that was the requirement of the position and as a result not be interested for the job, when in fact lieutenant governors are only expected to make 3 visits to each of their club during the whole year. I'm sure each of you at some point has heard someone make a joke about so-and-so not being present for the meeting and therefore they were elected president. This is the kind of self-deprecating humor that actually hurts our leadership development because it cheapens the role. Why would anyone seek the presidency of their Kiwanis club if no one respects the position and no one runs for it? These are the kinds of things we need to be cognizant of if we want our organization to grow. Many of our clubs do all of this very well, but not all of them, and that's where our work has to begin. As we wrap up the year, Jen and I wish you and your family the happiest in the upcoming holiday season, and I look forward to seeing many of you at the Midwinter Conferences that will be starting in January. Thank you for listening, thank you for being a Kiwanian, and have a happy new year.